Hello, I'm Dini, your coach, helping you delivering a day-to-day provoking questions to become a better you. You learn, you grow, start from today. In this channel, I will read out loud the conversation between me and AI, a list of curated questions dedicated for those who are interested in organizational development, HR, and neuroscience. AI is a scholarly partner for you to have through discussions as long as you already read, understand, and practice the subjects. This will be conducted in English, not in Bahasa. I hope you could learn something from each chapter or each question I have and benefit from it. A delightful conversation with scholarly AI. Chapter 8. Formulating Vision, Mission, and Values. Part 2. Questions. 3. Can you elaborate more about internal and external analysis, or Step 2, please? 4. Can you explain more about the PESTEL analysis and Porter's 5-force framework? 5. What framework amongst those tools and techniques is the most powerful? What are their strengths and weaknesses? 3. Can you elaborate more about internal and external analysis, or Step 2, please? Here's a more detailed explanation of internal and external analysis. Internal analysis. Internal analysis examines the company's internal environment, including its strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, or SWOT analysis. This analysis helps identify the company's capabilities, resources, and limitations. Internal analysis components. 1. Strengths. Identify the company's internal strengths, such as core competencies, unique skills or expertise, strong brand recognition, innovative products or services. 2. Weaknesses. Identify the company's internal weaknesses, such as limited resources or capabilities, inefficient processes or systems, poor management or leadership, and high employee turnover. 3. Capabilities. Assess the company's internal capabilities, including human resources like skills, expertise, and capacity, financial resources such as funding, investments, and cash flow, physical resources, for example, equipment, facilities, and technology, and intellectual resources, for example, patents, trademarks, and copyrights. 4. Culture. Evaluate the company's internal culture, including values and mission, leadership style and management approach, communication and collaboration, and employee engagement and motivation. External analysis. External analysis examines the company's external environment, including market trends, customer needs, competitor activity, and broader economic and social factors. External analysis components. 1. Market trends. Identify key market trends, including market size and growth rate, customer needs and preferences, emerging technologies or innovations, regulatory changes or compliance requirements. 2. Competitor analysis. Assess the company's competitors, including market share and position, products or services offered, pricing and revenue strategies, marketing and sales approaches. 3. Customer analysis. Evaluate the company's customers, including demographics and segmentation, needs and preferences, buying behavior and purchasing decisions, and loyalty and retention. 4. Economic and social factors. Consider broader economic and social factors, including economic trends and forecasts, government policies and regulations, social and environmental concerns, technological advancements and innovation. Tools and techniques. Several tools and techniques can be used to conduct internal and external analysis, including 1. SWOT analysis, a framework for identifying strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. 2. PESTEL analysis, a framework for analyzing political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal factors. 3. Porter's 5 forces, a framework for analyzing the competitive forces within an industry. 4. McKinsey 7S framework, a framework for analyzing an organization's strategy, structure, systems, skills, style, staff, and shared values. 5. Value chain analysis, a framework for analyzing an organization's value chain and identifying areas for improvement. 4. Can you explain more about the PESTEL analysis and Porter's 5-force framework? Here's an in-depth explanation of PESTEL analysis and Porter's 5 forces framework. PESTEL analysis. PESTEL analysis is a strategic framework used to identify and analyze the external factors that can impact an organization. PESTEL is an acronym that stands for 1. Political, government policies, regulations, and laws that can affect the organization. 2. Economic conditions, trends, and factors that can impact the organization, such as inflation, interest rates, and unemployment. 3. Social trends, cultural norms, and demographic changes that can influence the organization. 4. Technological advancements, innovations, and disruptions that can impact the organization. 5. Environmental factors such as climate change, sustainability, and resource depletion that can affect the organization. 6. Legal laws, regulations, and compliance requirements that can impact the organization. How to conduct a PESTEL analysis. 1. Identify the key factors that each PESTEL category. 2. Analyze the potential impact on each factor on the organization. 3. Assess the likelihood and potential impact of each factor. 4. Identify opportunities and threats arising from the PESTEL factors. 5. Develop strategies to mitigate threats and capitalize on opportunities. Porter's 5 forces framework. Porter's 5 forces framework is a strategic tool used to analyze the competitive forces within an industry. The framework helps organizations understand the competitive landscape and develop strategies to gain a competitive advantage. The 5 forces. 1. Threat of new entrants, the likelihood of new companies entering the industry and the potential impact on the organization. 2. Bargaining power of suppliers, the ability of suppliers to negotiate prices, terms, and conditions that can impact the organization. 3. Bargaining power of buyers, the ability of customers to negotiate prices, terms, and conditions that can impact the organization. 4. Threat of substitute products or services, the likelihood of substitute products or services emerging that can replace the organization's offerings. 5. Competitive rivalry among existing competitors, the intensity of competition among existing companies in the industry. How to conduct a Porter's 5 forces analysis. 1. Identify the key players in each of the 5 forces. 2. Analyze the potential impact of each force on the organization. 3. Assess the likelihood and potential impact on each force. 4. Identify opportunities and threats arising from the 5 forces. 5. Develop strategies to mitigate threats and capitalize on opportunities. By using PESTLE analysis and Porter's 5 forces framework, organizations can gain a deeper understanding of the external environment and competitive landscape, enabling them to develop effective strategies and gain a sustainable competitive advantage. 5. What framework amongst those tools and techniques is the most powerful? What are their strengths and weaknesses? Each framework has its strengths and weaknesses, and the most powerful one depends on the specific context and purpose of the analysis. Here's a brief comparison of the frameworks. PESTLE analysis. Strength. 1. Comprehensive framework that considers multiple external factors. 2. Helps identify potential opportunities and threats. 3. Useful for strategic planning and risk management. Weaknesses. 1. Can be time-consuming and complex to conduct. 2. May not provide a detailed analysis of competitive forces. 3. Requires significant data collection and analysis. Porter's 5 forces framework. Strengths. 1. Focuses specifically on competitive forces, providing a detailed analysis. 2. Help identify potential competitive threats and opportunities. 3. Useful for developing competitive strategies. Weaknesses. 1. Limited scope, focusing only on competitive forces. 2. May not consider broader external factors like PESTLE. 3. Requires a good understanding of the industry and market. SWOT analysis. Strength. 1. Simple and easy to conduct. 2. Helps identify internal strengths and weaknesses as well as external opportunities and threats. 2. Useful for strategic planning and decision-making. Weaknesses. 1. May not provide a comprehensive analysis of external factors. 2. Can be subjective, relying on individual perspectives. 3. May not consider the relative importance of each factor. Value chain analysis. Strength. 1. Helps identify areas for cost reduction and value creation. 2. Useful for analyzing internal processes and activities. 3. Can be used to develop competitive strategies. Weaknesses. 1. Limited scope, focusing only on internal processes. 2. May not consider broader external factors. 3. Requires a good understanding of the organization's internal processes. McKinsey 7S Framework. Strengths. 1. Comprehensive framework that considers multiple internal factors. 2. Helps identify areas for alignment and improvement. 3. Useful for organizational design and change management. Weaknesses can be complex and time-consuming to conduct. 2. May not provide a detailed analysis of external factors. 3. Requires significant data collection and analysis. Ultimately, the most powerful framework depends on the specific context and purpose of the analysis. A combination of frameworks such as using Pastel and Porter's 5 forces together can provide a more comprehensive understanding of the organization's environment. This is the end of Chapter A, Formulating Vision, Mission, and Values. Thank you so much for listening. Could I ask you for a favor? Please like, comment, share, and subscribe this channel. For inquiries, please contact my Instagram, DiniDaily_coaching. And please support our online store at 4teeth.